15 landing page variants, 2 hours, and over a 50% conversion lift. Hey folks, I'm Luke from Unbounce, and today I'm going to show you how we use AI to optimize our landing pages and how you can too. Stick around. Roll the title card. I'm going to start this video with a marketing confession. Even though I know I'm always supposed to optimize my landing pages, I don't always actually do that. Now don't get me wrong, I do always want to go back to optimize my work. That's kind of our thing at Unbounce. There's just always about 101 other things I always have to do first, you know? It's like, write this email, launch this campaign, sit in this 3-hour Zoom meeting. That's why I was so excited to try the new Unbounce optimization tool, Smart Traffic. According to our website, Smart Traffic makes it easier and faster for you to optimize, and it gives you an average conversion lift of 30%. Sound too good to be true? Maybe. That's why I decided to run a little experiment and see for myself. I used Smart Traffic to optimize 2 of our landing pages here at Unbounce, and I gave myself just 2 hours to do it. And spoiler alert, I didn't actually get that 30% average conversion lift. What I did get though was a 50% conversion lift. So let's jump into the builder. I'm going to show you not only how I did it, but also what you should be thinking about when you optimize with Smart Traffic. So the first thing you need to know about Smart Traffic is that it's fundamentally different from an A/B test. Unlike in A/B testing, you're not looking for those aha moments to apply to your next campaign or a one-size-fits-all winning variant. Instead, what you're looking to discover is what works best for different subsets of your audience. So here we've got a landing page for a downloadable lookbook. And if you were to A/B test a page like this, you might want to try 1 or 2 different variants. Maybe you would want to test a different headline, or maybe you would want to test a different image. It would have to be a very controlled experiment where you wait for statistical significance before declaring a champion variant. Whereas with Smart Traffic, you can really go wild. You can create new versions of this page with different colors, or different text, or different layouts, and you can test them all at the same time. And so the first thing I tried was exactly this. I created a bunch of random variants, and I used Smart Traffic to automatically send visitors to the landing page variant where they are most likely to convert. And that's based on their attributes and how similar page visitors have converted before. But in my opinion, it's kind of a mistake to just start changing things on the fly and creating random variants. I call this approach in the blog I wrote throwing spaghetti at the wall, because you're really just guessing to see what sticks. I tried this with this page and I created 10 variants in about an hour, and the results were not very impressive, because the algorithm had a much tougher time figuring out where to send the visitors and which pages weren't even worth their time. So let me show you the second, more strategic approach I took. This is another landing page for a SaaS optimization guide. And I know, it's optimizing a landing page for an optimization guide. It's getting a bit meta, but stick with me, okay? So the first thing I did was put together a spreadsheet. That's right, a good old spreadsheet, listing out the different segments I hope to attract on this landing page. And you can see here I have 3 categories that I really wanted to test. The first being the value propositions. The second being the device that the visitors were using, so whether they're on desktop or mobile. And then the third being how ready they are to download. We were driving traffic through a lot of PPC ads for this page in particular, so I knew that these attributes would vary from visitor to visitor. And so from these, I came up with a plan for a few different variants. For the first variant, I wanted to target visitors on mobile devices and those who are already ready to download. I speculated that this original version, if you remember it looks like this, was quite long for visitors on mobile devices. If you start to scroll down, you'll notice that there are a number of different sections giving more detail and more information, potentially more information than visitors actually needed. So for these mobile visitors, I created this variant, which was much shorter and to the point. You can see here, it cuts out a lot of the fat and really gives you no reason to leave if you're ready to convert. This is backed up by research we have in the Conversion Benchmark Report. If you're not familiar, the team here at Unbounce analyzed tens of thousands of landing pages to see what converts best in different industries. For SaaS in particular, we know that the more words you have on a page, the less likely it tends to drive conversions. So I locked the word count and I created this variant. For the other variants, I wanted to test out headlines that would target different stages of awareness. So one for visitors who maybe don't know how to optimize, and another one for visitors who maybe know how to optimize, but they need a more streamlined process in order to do it. I created all of these variants in the span of about 15 to 30 minutes. And within a month, we were already seeing a 12% lift in conversions. Now that we're about 6 to 7 months later, you can see that number has gone up to about 50%. Now, I know that you might be looking down at some of these conversion rates on the side here and thinking, well, Luke, why don't you just turn off these low-performing variants and just let your best of the best keep going forward? Don't worry, I had the exact same instinct. But it turns out that you're better off leaving these variants on so that the machine can keep learning. Here's what Floss Taylor, data analyst at Unbounce, told me. Smart traffic doesn't have champion variants. You don't pick one at the end like you would in an A/B test. Although one variant may appear to be performing poorly, there could be a subset of traffic that it's ideal for. You're better off leaving it on long term so it can work its magic. That is pretty huge, and it's great because unlike an A/B test where you have to wait for the results and then apply your learnings, smart traffic just keeps learning and delivering better and better results over time. All you gotta do is hit that smart traffic button and you're off to the races. So I can personally attest that smart traffic, hey, it works. And in this case, it gave me a conversion lift much faster than any A/B test or split test ever would have. But it does require you to change the way you think about optimization. It's no longer about finding that one variant to rule them all. With smart traffic, it's all about what works best for different subsets of your audience. And honestly, that can kind of feel weird at first. But with an average conversion lift of 30%, well, those numbers are pretty hard to argue with. Anyways, let me know if you have any questions about this experiment specifically, or about smart traffic in general. I'm really curious to hear what other marketers think about using AI to optimize their landing pages and what your experience is like using this tool. So until next time, happy optimizing.